Have you ever noticed that the best leaders are not always the ones with the quickest answers, but they are often the calmest people in the room? My name is Dr. Julie Donley, and I help leaders to reduce stress by improving how they communicate, connect, and lead. I worked with an executive who told me, Dr. Julie, I feel like I'm running from one thing to the next all day long. By the time I get home, I'm exhausted. And even when I'm with my family, my mind is still at work. I think a lot of us leaders can relate to that. Now, as we talked, something became very clear. He was not simply busy, his attention was constantly being pulled from one thing to another, leaving almost no time or space to think. And without that space, it becomes really difficult to remain calm. Everything begins to feel urgent. Decisions become reactive. Communication becomes rushed. Stress increases. And your team feels it too. Calm is not something simply that you experience, it is something that you create through the way you manage your time, attention, and your responses. So, here are three practices that helped him and perhaps can help you as well. The first is to stop starting your day by reacting. Instead of opening his email first thing in the morning, he spent a few minutes, the time he needed, to decide what actually mattered for him that day. Email allows other people's requests, interests, priorities to take over before you've considered your own. Beginning with your priorities helps you to lead your day rather than immediately react to it. The second strategy he used was to build short pauses into his schedule. He began leaving enough space, for instance, between meetings to reset before walking into the next conversation. This didn't require hour-long breaks. Sometimes 5 minutes was enough to gather his thoughts, to breathe, and to decide how he wanted to show up next. It's also okay to leave a meeting a few minutes early when you need time to prepare for your next commitment. If a meeting is running over and something else requires your attention, you can excuse yourself rather than carrying that urgency, someone else's urgency, into the rest of your day. You also provide a role model to others about learning how to manage their time. Those small boundaries can help you to protect your ability to remain present, to think clearly, and to modulate your stress. The third strategy here was he needed to stop treating every interruption as though it required an immediate response. Sometimes the most effective response is, let me think about that and get back to you. That simple sentence gives you time to consider your options and your bandwidth rather than reacting under pressure. You can also ask, when do you need an answer? You may discover that you have plenty of time, that you have an hour, a day, or even longer. Maybe not, but whatever that time is, you still have created space for yourself to consider your options. Do not automatically allow someone else's urgency to determine your priority. Give yourself the time you need to think things through and respond intentionally. Calm is not about having fewer responsibilities. It is about leading those responsibilities differently. When you create space to think, you communicate more clearly, you make better decisions, and you become more present with the people around you. You reduce stress not only for yourself, but for your team. Calm is not something that simply happens to you. It's something that you practice through the choices that you make throughout your day. So take a moment to reflect on your leadership. Where in your day could you create a little more space to think before you respond? This idea is at the heart of my forthcoming book, What's the Rush? Calm does not come for waiting for life to become less demanding, because if you're waiting for that, it won't happen. But it does grow through the choices and the practices that help us to remain connected to ourselves while life is happening. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more practical ways to reduce your stress and lead with greater presence, clarity, and confidence. I'm Dr. Julie Donley. Until next time, happy leading.